You should be thanking me for wasting my youth on you. Most women would have left a loser like you years ago, my wife said after I caught her texting her coworker. So I moved out without a word. Now she's alone, blocked, and realizing I was the best she'll ever have. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. We met when we were 17. Natalie was the loud, bold girl in our high school theater club, the kind who could walk into a room and make it feel like the party started because she arrived. I was the quiet one, a bit awkward, obsessed with tech, always the guy fixing the lights or setting up the projector while she lit up the stage. Somehow, she noticed me. I still remember the first time she called me cute. I thought it was a joke, but she kept coming around. We started dating our senior year, and I fell hard. She had this wild, chaotic energy that made everything feel exciting. I was calm, reliable, grounded. We balanced each other, or at least that's what I thought back then. We dated all through college. She majored in media and communication. I got into a decent software engineering program, but halfway through my degree, her financial aid fell through, and she was going to drop out. Without even thinking, I offered to work full-time and cover our rent and bills while she finished. I figured I'd go back later. I never did. She got her degree. I didn't, but I didn't resent her for that. At the time, I was proud. She walked across that graduation stage wearing the heels I bought and holding the diploma I helped pay for. She even whispered, "We did it," and kissed me before grabbing her phone to take pictures with her classmates. We got married a year later. Small ceremony. Nothing fancy. Just friends, family, and one big promise. We were a team. The early years were rough. She wanted to freelance in content creation, tried photography, blogging, then video editing. I supported her through it all, paid off her student loans, let her use our living room as a studio, even when it meant stepping over ring lights and tripods after long shifts. I took a steady job doing IT support. Not glamorous, but it paid well enough. Benefits were good. She always said I was boring stable, and I took it as a compliment. Someone had to be. The shift started around her 30th birthday. She landed a new job at some boutique media agency downtown. She was thrilled. New clothes, new coworkers, new energy, as she put it. I was happy for her. Honestly, I thought maybe things were finally settling into place. But then she started working late. A lot. At first, I believed her. Deadlines, campaign launches, networking drinks. But the tone changed. She got snappier. Everything I did seemed to annoy her. If I asked what time she'd be home, she'd sigh and say, "You always need to know where I am." It's exhausting. She started comparing me to her coworkers, casually at first, then not so subtly. "You should hear how funny Zane is. That guy lights up the whole room." Or, "It's wild how motivated people are when they actually love what they do." I wasn't blind, just slow to accept what was happening. The intimacy dried up. Conversations became surface level. I'd cook dinner, and she'd eat in silence while scrolling. We went from partners to roommates. I kept trying. Date nights, flowers, cleaning the house, asking how her day went. She'd always say, "Fine," and change the subject. The moment that really stuck with me was during a family barbecue. My niece asked if Aunt Natalie was going to help with the water balloons, and Natalie actually rolled her eyes and said, "I'm not the fun one in this relationship." Then, in front of everyone, she added, "I married the safe choice." That's not exactly thrilling. People laughed awkwardly. I smiled like it didn't sting, but it did. I started to notice how she always had her phone upside down when she set it on the table, or how she never left it unattended anymore. She was constantly texting, smirking at her screen, and when I'd glance over, she'd pull it away. Still, I didn't confront her. I kept telling myself it was stress, or a phase, or maybe I just wasn't doing enough. That maybe if I worked out more, talked less, gave her more space, things would go back to how they used to be. But deep down, I already knew. I just didn't know how bad it would get, or how far she'd go to make me feel like I was the one wasting her time. It happened on a Thursday night. Natalie was in the shower. Her phone buzzed on the counter 3 times in a row, lighting up the dark hallway. I wouldn't have touched it. Seriously, I never snooped. But I recognized the name, Zane. That coworker she kept bringing up. The one she claimed was just hilarious and high energy. The preview on the screen read, Miss you already face blowing a kiss last night was. I tapped it. I know I shouldn't have, but I did. And what I saw, it wasn't just cheating. It was mockery. A slow, humiliating unraveling of everything I thought our marriage was. They'd been texting for weeks. Photos, inside jokes, private nicknames. Talk about sneaking off together. The worst part? They talked about me like I was some clueless relic in the background. I feel like I'm still married to a guidance counselor. All khakis and concern. LMAO, you're being so bad, faced with tears of joy, old man's gonna start journaling about his feelings again. They even joked about me buying her a necklace last week. He still thinks I'm gonna wear it. Bless his stable little heart. I remember staring at the screen, just numb. Not angry. Not even sad yet. Just quiet. She came out of the shower in a towel, humming some pop song. When she saw me holding her phone, her whole face dropped. She didn't even look shocked. Just annoyed. Seriously, she asked. You went through my phone? I didn't yell. I didn't throw the phone. I just said, is it true? She shrugged and walked past me toward the closet. Define true. I stood there, still holding the phone. Have you slept with him? She didn't answer right away. Just started getting dressed like I wasn't even there. Then she laughed. You're unbelievable. I swear, the emotional drama with you. I didn't move. She sighed and finally turned around. Fine. Yes. I slept with him. Jesus. Happy now. I just stared at her. Why? I asked. It came out softer than I expected. Not pleading, just trying to understand what happened to the person I married. That's when she delivered the line. She folded her arms, tilted her head, and said, you should be thanking me for wasting my youth on you. Most women would have left a loser like you years ago. I didn't say anything. She kept going. Do you have any idea what it's like to be with someone who's just comfortable? Predictable? You wake up, you make coffee, you go to your dumb little job, you fold laundry, you think that's a life. I gave up everything for this boring stability. I gave you my 20s. And what did I get? A house in the suburbs and a husband who thinks a date night at Olive Garden is romance. Still, I didn't speak. Because in that moment, I realized she wasn't trying to hurt me. She genuinely believed she was the one who'd been wronged by being married to someone who loved her without condition. That clarity hit harder than anything else. I looked at her, put her phone gently on the dresser, and said, thanks for the clarity. She scoffed. That's it. No tantrum, no begging. I grabbed my keys, walked out. That was the last night I spent in that house. No screaming, no slammed doors, no long dramatic speeches. Just a quiet goodbye she didn't even recognize as final. At least not yet. I stayed with a friend that first night. Not because I had some master plan, I just couldn't sleep in that house. I kept picturing her laughing as she texted him, mocking me from across the dinner table. Every kind gesture, every shared memory suddenly felt repurposed. Like I'd been an extra in someone else's movie. But still, I didn't text her. I didn't ask questions. I didn't demand answers. I just stopped. I took a few days off work, told my manager it was personal, packed up some clothes, my laptop, and my toothbrush from the house while she was at work. I left the key on the counter. Not a note. Not a voicemail. Nothing. And I think that's what got to her. Because 2 days later, she texted me, Natalie, are we going to talk about this like adults, or are you just going to ghost your wife? I didn't reply. The next day, Natalie, I never said I didn't love you. You just didn't listen. You never really heard me. Then, Natalie, fine. I get it. You're hurt. Be dramatic then. There it was. The switch. She expected rage. A meltdown. She wanted me to cry, yell, demand to know why. That's how she stayed in control. But I gave her none of it. I wasn't being dramatic. I was done. I spent the next 2 weeks resetting my life. Opened a separate bank account. Called a lawyer. Didn't even tell her. Just kept moving. I started going to the gym every morning. Cooked my own meals. Read books I'd forgotten I owned. I hadn't felt that clear-headed in years. At night, I'd lie on my friend's futon staring at the ceiling, and instead of feeling empty, I felt clean, like I'd finally stepped out of the fog. Meanwhile, the messages from her kept coming, like clockwork. She shifted tactics constantly, hoping one would stick. Natalie, I think we should try therapy. We owe it to what we had. Natalie, you know this is exactly why I felt disconnected. You shut down the moment things get hard. Natalie, he's not even in my life anymore, if that's what you're wondering. I wasn't. Eventually, she started dragging our mutual friends into it. I got a call from one of them, David, a guy I hadn't heard from in a while. "Hey, man, I don't want to get in the middle, but Natalie's been telling people you just abandoned her." I didn't correct him. I didn't explain. I just said, "She's free to tell whatever story she wants. I'm not adding to it." "So that's it. You're just done." "Yeah." Wow. I think that was the moment it clicked for him too. This wasn't a stunt. I wasn't trying to make her jealous. I wasn't spiraling or plotting revenge. I was just over it. Completely. I muted her number. Stopped reading her messages altogether. I didn't block her because even her words didn't carry weight anymore. Her noise was just background static I didn't care to turn off. The silence wasn't revenge. It was peace. And the more peace I found, the more her messages changed. What started as arrogant deflection became confusion, then desperation, then fear. But by that point, the version of me who would have responded didn't exist anymore. I didn't see it happen in real time. I didn't need to. People started telling me without me asking, like the universe wanted me to know. Zane ghosted her. From what I heard, it wasn't even dramatic. He just stopped replying to her texts, started showing up late to work, then started bringing another girl to office drinks. Younger, prettier, apparently fresh out of college. Natalie tried to play it cool, but word spread fast. Her hot fling had fizzled, and now she was walking around the office pretending nothing happened. One of her coworkers, a girl I barely knew, actually DM'd me on Instagram and said, "Hey, just so you know, people here are starting to see through her BS. She's not doing great." I didn't reply, but I appreciated it. Her tone changed around then. "Natalie, can we talk? Just once. Not to fix anything. Just to understand what happened. Natalie, I don't know how we went from 10 years together to silence. Natalie, please. Just tell me what you're thinking." I never answered. It wasn't about punishment. I just had nothing left to say. She started spiraling after that. I found out she tried to get back into a group trip with our mutual friends, the same ones who she used to vent to about how boring I was. Only now they weren't interested. Apparently, once the truth about Zane came out, and some of the screenshots I'd saved privately found their way into the group chat, sympathy dried up. She stopped posting selfies, deleted her Instagram for a bit, then brought it back and posted a quote about rebirth and lessons. I guess the lesson didn't land, because not long after, I got this: "Natalie, I didn't cheat because I didn't love you. I cheated because I was broken and didn't know how to ask for help. You were the only person who ever truly cared about me." That one almost got a reaction out of me. Almost. But the truth is, by then, I'd already started dating again. Nothing serious. Just coffee with someone kind. Someone who asked questions and actually listened. And I realized something. It wasn't just Natalie who failed the marriage. I did too, by convincing myself that being needed was the same as being loved. We were never partners. I was just the life raft she clung to until she spotted something shinier. 6 months after I walked out, we were both invited to the same wedding. A couple from our old college group. Not close friends, but people I'd known long enough to feel like I couldn't say no without raising flags. I debated skipping it, but something in me wanted to go. Not to show off. Not for closure. Just to prove to myself that her presence didn't shake me anymore. I brought a date. Anna. Not flashy. Not some rebound bombshell. Just steady. Thoughtful. Someone who made me laugh during dinner and didn't post every outfit she wore on Instagram. We arrived late. Slipped in just before the ceremony started. I didn't even realize Natalie was there until I caught her out of the corner of my eye during the reception, sitting alone at a table, swirling her wine, scanning the room like she was searching for something to hold on to. She saw me. Froze. Her mouth opened slightly like she was about to speak, but I walked past without breaking stride. Later that night, while I was getting drinks at the bar, she finally approached. "Hey," she said soft, almost like a stranger. "Can we talk for a second?" I turned, looked at her. She looked smaller somehow. Not physically, just less certain. Her makeup was perfect, her dress was probably expensive, but her voice was shaky. "You look different," she said. "Healthier." I nodded once. "I am." She hesitated. "I never thought you'd actually leave." I tilted my head. "You said you wasted your youth on me. That made it pretty clear what I was worth to you." She flinched. "I didn't mean it like that." I was angry. Scared. "You meant it exactly like that. And honestly, I'm glad you said it. It snapped me out of whatever delusion I was still clinging to. Saying, he wasn't who I thought he was. I let that hang in the air. She was waiting for a reaction. A flicker of satisfaction, maybe even pity. She got none. She started, but I cut her off. You told me I was a loser. That I should be grateful you tolerated me. You said you gave me your youth like it was some kind of charity work. So here's the truth. I didn't lose you. I lost the version of myself that thought I needed you. She blinked, eyes glossy. I don't expect us to go back. I miss what we had. I miss feeling safe. I nodded. I don't blame you. Safety's hard to come by when you burn the bridges behind you. She looked like she was about to cry. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't cold. I just turned to walk away. Before I did, I added, take care of yourself, Natalie. Then I went back to Anna. She looked up from her drink and smiled like nothing had happened. Like I hadn't just closed the book on a 10-year chapter of my life. And maybe that's the best kind of ending. The kind where you realize the story wasn't about them at all. I haven't heard from Natalie since that night. No more texts. No more long-winded apologies. Maybe she finally got it. Or maybe she realized I was never coming back. It doesn't really matter. Life's simple now. I work. I sleep. I cook real meals. I've got peace where the chaos used to live. Anna and I, we're not rushing anything. But it feels good. Easy. Honest. Sometimes I think back to who I was in that marriage. Always fixing, always forgiving, always explaining myself to someone who'd already made up her mind. And I don't feel angry anymore. Just embarrassed I let it go on that long. But even that fades. Because the truth is, she did waste her youth. Not on a loser, but on a man who gave everything and finally learned when to stop. And I think that's the part she'll never forgive me for. I didn't fight to win her back. I let her go and never looked over my shoulder. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.